Ladies and gentlemen, it's episode 2 of Flamingo Sundays, and I'm actually really lucky, I think, to have the man I have sitting opposite me in front of the glowing flamingo. He's a man that sits opposite people like Grant Cardone, Gary V, Tony Robbins, now Jack Henderson is a pretty big name. It's Michael Lane from Success Resources, mate. Welcome.
Thank you, mate. Great to be on the podcast.
Thank you. Mate, we've met on a few occasions. Firstly, we're on Sydney Harbour, which is a great place to meet. We both like spending a lot of time on the harbour. For the select few people who don't know who you are and what you do, give us a little bit of background about, essentially where you come from, where you are now, and then we're going to run through, the business itself.
Yeah, cool. Look, I've been in business for 20 years. Started and failed at a heap of businesses.
Yeah.
One or two did okay. And I suppose the second one I'm currently still in, called Success Resources. We're a educational seminar company, and we do large-scale events in about 37 countries around the world.
Wow.
Last year we did 525, with some cool people like Tony Robbins, Gary V, Grant Cardone, and some other people. So, yeah, our business is all about educating entrepreneurs who want to identify what they're passionate about and then go live that passion. So I get to wake up every day in beautiful Sydney, although it's not that beautiful today.
The weather's not great, is it?
No, but look, I was a Sydney boy. I knew from an early age I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
I didn't get the grades at school. The writing was on the wall early, if I'm going to be really honest. And I just turned to sales. As soon as I got out of school, I just knew that if I could hone a sales process and understand how the process works, I think I could sell anything.
Yeah.
So I honed in on that, got really clear on understanding how to build value and show value, and then being able to persuade someone to part with their hard-earned dollars in an authentic way to get some kind of product or service. So, yeah, look, it's been an interesting journey, but 20 years in, just turned 40 last week, and mate, more excited than ever.
Right. Let's look. That's an incredible journey. 20 years in business is one massive achievement, because what they say, within 5 years, I think 99% of businesses, shut their doors.
Yeah.
So to be in business 20 years is pretty incredible. Let's take it back to Michael Lane coming out of school.
Yeah.
You said sales was for you. You knew that from an early age. When you said sales was for you, was it being young and chasing dollars? Because generally there is a connotation with sales and money, right? If you're a good seller, you earn a lot of money. So when you left school and went into sales, was it because of a passion of sales, or was it because, as a young guy, and I'm the same, money drives you, right? Because you want to achieve all these things and grab all of these things.
Yeah.
So run me through that. Why sales? Why not lawyer or an accountant, or
Yeah. Look, to be honest, I just wanted to be rich. If I'm just being brutally honest, I knew at 8. When all my friends were reading comic books, I was reading Rob Report, Showboat, and Fast Cars. So I just knew I was wired a little bit differently. And when I left school, definitely didn't have the grades for anything like that, or anything like a lawyer or those kind of things. So went out there, honed the skills, went in everything from car sales to door knocking to a whole heap of stuff.
Right.
And any entrepreneur basically starts out with the money game.
100%.
And it is a game.
Yeah.
And you think that you play the game and you'll win the game and live happily ever after, and obviously that's not the case. And I think I was lucky that I had a number of failures early, and then I had a quick win and made some good money, and then I lost it all. So it was an interesting journey in my 20s, because I was bootstrapping everything. I came up with several ideas, brought them to market, didn't work. Cool, we'll go build something else. And then, what really clicked for me when I was 23 was the personal development game. Teaching people to, identify what they're passionate about was an easy sell for me.
Right.
It just resonated, because I was the student in that, and someone was teaching me that. So, when the student becomes the teacher, and then you start to help people identify what they're passionate about and then lead them down that path, it just resonated. I've always made money in the personal development seminar game. I've done so many other things, though, whether it's a nightclub here at Double Bay, whether it's an energy drink company, or perfume distribution. It doesn't matter what it was. None of them made money, except the business I'm in now. So, I just got to a point where I'm like, okay, that feels good, resonates, and I make good money from it. So let's just see how that goes. And then, in my late 20s, I bought into this company. It had already been going and had a bit of a history and been doing stuff for about 10 years before I got in. But look, about 11 years ago, I put some money into the company, and while we're doing 2 to 3 events a year, the last 11 years has been pretty busy scaling this. And, now in 37 countries and 500 plus events a year, it's just been an interesting journey.
Massive growth. The reason I asked the question about obviously chasing money is, this podcast is aimed at millennials.
Yeah.
And people come out of school, I think when people go to university, they want to be lawyers, accountants, doctors, sometimes because of the passion, but the majority of the time because of money, right? They think these people earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
And when you go into business, you also think the same thing. And for people who don't come from money and come from affluence, which is what the majority of people chase their whole life, they think that the money will make them happy, right? So they think when I have the car or when I have the boat or the house, or they see things going through their daily life, they think, oh, this person's so rich, they must be so happy. And it's interesting you said everything you were chasing for the money was very short-lived. Then you started chasing passion, right?
Yeah.
And the feel-good, attitude, and it makes you feel really good when you're helping people, and what come with that was money. So
Yes.
money was just a consequence of doing something you loved. So I guess that's the reason I asked why money, because everyone chases money. Everyone wants to do something for cash. Let's do that. Let's jump to there, and it's all short term. But I think the big thing is passion.
Yep.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Look, I think, and it's easy to tell a young entrepreneur, don't leave the money and go for passion.
Yeah.
But I think they've got to go through that money journey or that money game and play that game.
I had Chris Gray on the podcast last week, and he
Love
said
Chris.
exactly the same thing.
Yep.
He said it's easy to tell people don't chase money, but they need to experience it first to realise it doesn't bring what they thought. They need to buy the car to realise that the car doesn't bring anything. It's short-lived. They need to buy the house. They need to go on the holidays. They need to have the girls. Whatever it is, to make you realise that that's not the thing. That's not the golden egg.
Yeah.
The golden egg is the passion of what makes you actually feel good inside, right?
Yeah, I think most entrepreneurs, you can't really tell them much anyway, right? They're on their path and they're going to go do it the way they want to do it, which is a great trait of an entrepreneur. But you let them play out that journey. And, I'm mentoring a lot of young entrepreneurs in my business. I have a very entrepreneurial culture.
Right.
And I have a lot of people come in, they do side hustles, and I'll help them with their business plan and minimum viable product and then scaling and those kind of things. So we encourage that, but I'm conscious that I want them to go have that taste of money as well.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. Have the taste of it and get a feeling for it. But then also understand that it's not going to be a long-lasting happiness associated with that. I remember when I first bought my first decent car, I was like, this is the best feeling ever. And for the next 3 months, I'd walk in the garage and go, this is the greatest. But in that 4th, 5th, 6th month, it's like, okay, I've got to get to the office. And it dissipates, right? So,
100%.
Go ahead, fulfill that, play that money game, get it off your chest for a couple of reasons. Experience what it's like in business class or first class or that car or whatever it is. Get that feeling and harness that. I think there's definitely benefits to it, but then when you play it long enough, you'll understand that there's better ways to get a longer lasting happiness and feeling, and for me that's helping other people.
Right. Michael, we've walked in, you've got the cameraman with you, I've got mine. In the 20 years you've been in Success Resources or in the business, it's changed, right? A lot has changed from 20 years ago, what you were teaching people to what people are paying for and being taught now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your business has changed a lot as well. So what I want to do for the next part of the podcast is run through, if you were the 23-year-old right now, and that's when it tipped, I want to be in this personal development game. How would Michael Lane do it differently to how we did do it? What would be different? And essentially what we're going to do is give the listeners a little bit of a roadmap to say, if they want to jump into a business similar to yours, let's give them some tips on if you were doing it against someone very experienced, how you would do it.
Yeah.
So, when you were 23, how did you jump into it then?
Yep.
And how would you do it differently now? And let's run through that.
Yeah, so, I was an egotistical 23-year-old. I thought I was bulletproof and all that. So, I wanted to own it all myself. I wanted to be the top dog. I wanted to be King Dingaling, right? And if I look back now, and if I was a 23-year-old in 2020 now, I'd do it so different. I would do what you do. My first hire would be a videographer. I would be starting to document my journey, my passion, my obsession, and just start living that every single day. Before I even start to monetize something, doesn't matter what your product is. Not everyone listening to this podcast is probably in real estate or, just start documenting yourself, what you're passionate about, what you love doing. I would do that first and foremost.
So before most people first hire would say a PA or an EA. That's in the
traditional
thing. That's what they do. Let's hire a PA to free out some of my time and make me more dollar productive.
Yeah, I would
flip that on its head.
I definitely wouldn't do that. I've got an assistant now, and I can't live without her. But it wouldn't be my first hire, that's for sure. So,
well, I've ticked that off the box. I've ticked that off the list. So
boom,
Sammy, thank you. Well done, mate. We're doing
done.
Well.
First step. Again, because I wanted to own everything when I was younger and ambitious, now I wouldn't want to own everything myself. I do a lot of mergers and acquisitions. I personally don't like investing more than 15% into a company. Okay. So if someone comes to me with an idea, it's like, dude, I'll take 15%. I'll help you with strategy and scale. You got to execute it. Now, a young 23-year-old is sitting there going, I want to make it all myself. I would go do joint ventures with people who have a existing distribution arm or an existing sales and marketing channel of the product or service that you want to get into. So let's say, you with these guys, right? You could go do this all yourself. You could start your own, flamingo agency.
Exactly. And you know what? Countless amounts of people have said to me, why didn't you do it by yourself? Literally, I hear that question constantly when I talk to people. Why are you with those guys for? Why are you with Trill Associates? Why didn't you do it by yourself?
Yeah.
So that's a common question.
Yeah. And you're not common, right? You're a young, successful entrepreneur who understands the game. But I would suggest if I was 23 starting again, I would go, you know what? I'm going to go find the best agency in the region, the best leader, the best mentor, the best sales and marketing firm I could to align my product to them. Because it's a long life. At 23, do you mean I'm 40 now and I've done probably 20 different companies and different things, and we've still got 10 companies percolating around the world doing different things. But an entrepreneur doesn't get stuck on one thing for the rest of their life. And I think as a young 23-year-old, you come in thinking this is going to be the billion-dollar company, and for me to hit that, I need to own all of it. Now I have several equity deals, and I take 15 to 20%, and I delegate the hard part of the equation, the sales, the marketing, the distribution, the shipping, if that may be the case. And I take 4 to 5 hours a month working on some of these deals. I take away an equity share, and that's kind of a better way for me to do deals. And I would suggest that to anyone is go, it's going to be a long journey. Don't think you need to own everything and all of it. Go do something with somebody, learn the ropes. I talk a lot about an entrepreneurial apprenticeship. An entrepreneurial apprenticeship is aligning with somebody who actually has runs on the board, who's willing to give you a piece of the business, and you take that 4 to 5 to 10 years to learn as much as you can. So then when you hit 30, you go, boom, I know what I'm doing now. I can go do it myself. So yeah, I would do it very differently if I was starting again.
Okay. So I guess the first step would be the hire. When you're in business, you wouldn't be going down the traditional path of hiring a PA or hiring an EA to free up some of your time. It'd be essentially hiring someone like a videographer or a social media or a content creator, whatever that is, to build a brand. Right? The second step would be, instead of going 100%, I'm a big dog, I'm going to do this by myself. It's how about I be a part of the puzzle.
Yes.
And let's create a team around me that have all got their I guess, strengths in what they do.
Yeah, and hopefully there's a mentor in that business where you can go, shit, I'm going to align to this person for the next 5 years because they've been through 20 years of hard ache, and I'll learn as much as I can, take a little piece and use it as that sort of scholarship.
And leverage, right?
And leverage.
Yeah. Okay, let's go third step. Let's talk very, I guess, micro in the event space, right? I guess the people who you would have, taken on tour 20 years ago, that would have been a lot different to the people now, right? Maybe back then it was celebrities.
Yeah, do you mean...
Who was it?
They were the old school personal development, like the Jim Rowan, the Brian Tracy's, the old school veterans of our industry. Now I move more into celebrities or who's got the attention. Grant Cardone's got 14 million people on social media. I just tend to look for those people who have got a passion to educate and have got the attention. So in this day and age, though, it's about, like I said, understanding those first two steps and then going, how can I deliver my passion in some way? So, for me, I love sales. I love entrepreneurship. So that's my passion coming out through my business. So, if I stuck to personal development, leadership, talkers, my business wouldn't be anywhere near it is now. Do you mean last year we had, 2 years ago we had Tom Brady. We had Gene Simmons from KISS last year. You think, okay, KISS, is that really an entrepreneur thing? He's done $4 billion in his company in 40 years. So I'm looking to find ways for me to make sure I still have fun in the role and in the job as well.
And I guess the people you're taking, around the world, they haven't necessarily been around for a long time. Let's talk about someone like Grant Cardone. Sure, he's been in business for a long time, but he hasn't been a brand, right?
No, same with Gary Vee.
And then I know you're in talks with people like Jay Shetty and stuff like that. These people haven't been around for 20 or 30 years like, celebrities may have been.
Yeah. So, well, Jay is actually a great example of what we just said on the first step and second step. He's a guy who's got 35 million followers, hasn't got a product to sell, right? He's just building community, building his passion, and now he's in talks with me and people and different people about how do I monetize my community? So he's built brand. So, I'm not saying to all the young entrepreneurs out there, go out there and when you get to 35 million, start to monetize it, but he's flipped the model. Most people go try and bring their product to market, and then they go, okay, now I'll start building brand and start building things. Flip it on its head because it's now a personal brand more than a product or service brand.
Exactly.
So once you do that and you understand that, you can document it easily. It's easy to get up at 5:30 a.m. and go, today I'm going in the office, I can't wait, do this. It's evergreen content, but then you can start to monetize it and partner with people because you've built a brand and companies want to associate with brands.
Exactly right. And I guess Gary Vee talks about this a lot, is brand is the only thing that cannot be commoditized, right? And people always question brand, like, oh, why? What personal brand's nothing in business, blah, blah, blah. But then they wear Gucci and they wear Nike and they don't think logically. Like the only reason they're wearing them is not because they love the beautiful black shoe or the white t-shirt. It's because of the brand it has on it and what that brand reflects, right? If you're wearing a Gucci or a Rolex or whatever it may be, the only reason you're wearing that is because you want the perception of what people have around that brand. You wear a Rolex because Rolex means wealth, right? It means you've made something. You wear Gucci because the same thing. It's not because of the white t-shirt, because this t-shirt costs $8 and a Gucci t-shirt costs exactly the same to make.
That's it.
The difference is brand,
That's
right?
it, yeah. So, excuse me, brand is the commodity right now. And brand is a longer game. And again, for the young entrepreneurs out there, I know you're thinking 3 to 5 years, but try and think 20 years. Now, I always tell entrepreneurs, come to me with a 20-year plan. And I know that sounds outrageous in this day and age, but if you come with a 20-year plan, there's a realistic time frame of what it's going to take to become successful. And when I was younger, I wanted it all straight away. I wanted to be a billionaire by 30. I mean, it's just unrealistic parameters I put on myself.
Yeah.
So have a longer game plan with a content and brand strategy at the beginning. As you move forward, you're going to build that awareness and people will start bringing you deals and opportunities because you've got the attention, you've got brand. The whole game's changing right now. And I'm so excited, and especially for the young dudes listening to this, is you've got such an opportunity. When I was 23, there was no internet. There might have been, but I definitely wasn't on it, right?
Yeah.
So I was barely on email. Now you can DM anyone in the world from your bed and try and do deals and collaboration. So it's an amazing time to be in business.
Right, mate, I agree. Number 4, let's talk about sales.
Yep.
The way you used to sell, which probably ring, it's Michael Hayne, you want to buy a ticket? No, hang the phone up, next one, right? That would have been it.
$150 a day,
Exactly. How is sales, so obviously back then that would have been the start of the business on the phone.
Yep.
How now, starting a business, if you added all those three, we're creating the first hire is the videographer, we're creating the personal brand, how are you selling?
Yeah.
How are you selling?
You'll be so surprised. I sell in many different ways. And again, for me selling, I'm not selling too many tickets these days, although I'll do the occasional swipe up, those kind of things. But I'm selling brand, which ultimately allows deal flow for me to come in. And when I say deal flow, it could be joint ventures. It could be people coming going, I want to bring 150 of my staff to your events. But if we layer it down to what my young guys are doing on the phone, they're doing content every day. They're doing interviews with clients who have come through our programs. They're doing how-to videos, the 3 key things you must know as a young entrepreneur, or the trappings and how to deal with the trappings of success. We are doing a boatload of content at every level, and we've gone from 150 dials to some of our team are making 20 to 30 dials and doing 400 grand a month. Do you mean on a $1,000 ticket or a $4,000 ticket? So the game's changed, and for those people who haven't adapted, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
So we've got young guys in our office who haven't taken up the content strategy game yet, and they're going to suffer if they don't soon. So even for me, I do a boatload of podcasts. I do it because we will use this content out there in some fashion. People ring me and go, hey, I love what you're doing. I want to come to an event, or I want you to promote my event.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're on the phone starting out or you're right up the top of the shop. You need to be adopting this new strategy, and sales is all about now authentically communicating. And you've just got better technology now. If you're not using your video on your phone to try and communicate, and even retention and follow-up, I'd be getting my phone out and going, Jack, we spoke yesterday. I was so good to connect with you. I love that you're passionate about this, and that. I know you're not ready to make a decision right now, but when you are, I'm going to be here. People need to use this technology in a way that it creates a lot of leverage.
Yeah, and that was the next thing I was going to talk about, leverage. Like, for example, you being aligned with people like the Gary V's of the world, Grant Cardone's, Tony Robbins, like the leverage you have off those people is nuts, right? Like, your brand essentially is getting presented to these millions and millions and millions of people, whether it's on, Gary Vee, for example, when he's doing his keynotes, he then shares those keynotes with his audience.
Yeah.
So Success Resources is everywhere around that. So
Yeah.
leveraging of other people's brands, I think, is another massive thing in this economy, which was harder a long time ago, because leverage of brands was like being on billboards. Now, how hard would it be to have like a Success Resources next to a Gary Vee on a billboard? Pretty hard.
Yes.
Now it's so subtle, but people notice.
Yeah.
Even if you're in the background, or he talks about something, or you share something that aligns with your brand and he reshares it. Like, leverage off other people's brands massive now, right?
It is, and look, for the people listening to this, in my event promotion company, I don't speak, so I don't sell any tickets for Michael Lane. All my ticket sales are with Gary Vee, those kind of things. So it's a partnership, it's a joint venture, or it's an equity deal. So yeah, the game's changed. It's like when I go to Gary and say, hey, can you do this, this, and this? We want that content. We want him to push it out. We know he's going to push it out as well, but it's this harmonious relationship where we're looking for a no-lose. I used to talk about a win-win-win. Win for you, win for me, win for the client. Now I think it's been flipped. We're looking for a no-lose situation. So when I put Gary on stage, I pay him a fee. He comes along, he fills the room for me. That helps me.
Yeah.
He gets content out of it, I get content out of it. And I think that's what's been successful formula for us, is having really strong relationships that are no-lose for the partnership. And it just helps in, getting your message out there. And it definitely helps to have someone like Gary Vee, who's got 20 million followers, sharing your content constantly, or your events.
100%.
So it's an interesting take on a modern day billboard and a modern day marketing play. But the eyeballs that we're getting on our brand right now from things that we're not even posting, it's just crazy. It's
crazy, yeah. So I think that's probably a 5-step formula to not just for the events business, but for any business. You can take those key, takeaways and use that in any business. I think those 5 steps. I think in this economy you'll see massive growth in the business, right?
Absolutely.
Over a long term. Let's talk about where Michael Lane, and whether it's Success Resources business or you go into something else. Where are you looking at from 40 to say 60? Where's your 20-year plan from now? Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, look, I've got an interest in various companies, not all just personal development. Very bullish in finance game at the moment.
Okay.
So just acquired a company last year who's doing some cool things in the Australian region. But to be honest, my real passion is education. So if I look at the thing that sort of wakes me up in the morning, it's taking world-class education and scaling it globally, digitally. So, while we do 500 events, we've captured a lot of content from those events. Now we're going to put them on a digital paywall. There'll be an app, and you'll be able to access any of our events.
Like a subscription.
Yeah,
sort of.
It's almost like a Netflix of personal development. So if you can't make it to Los Angeles to see Tom Brady and whoever else is on, sit there and watch it on your phone. So that's...
And that'll get you into places that, you know, necessarily don't have the financial backing to be able to afford these things, right? If you're in a third world country, the majority of these people still have telephones, right? And they still have the want to get better and be better. So now it's over. You're going to be in these places where they can't afford to get to the event, but they can still hear everything the people at the event are hearing, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to really... Do you remember we're in 37 countries now? To be honest, I don't really want to keep scaling. I don't want to get to 100 countries, that's for sure. So the most logical next step is doing it digitally. So we'll come out this year with a platform. It'll be as little as $9 a month. You can live stream and you can watch a whole heap of stuff all around the world on demand. There'll be 4,000 to 5,000 hours on there. So that's going to be cool. The next thing that's really exciting at the moment is aligning with a lot of celebrities. And I'm not just talking about the Kardashians and people like that. I'm talking about people who clearly, and you can see it in their posts, in what they're doing, they've got a passion to give back and educate and maybe inspire. Right. A good one right now is Will Smith. I mean, he's talking about success. He's talking about this. I want to do some unique stuff, and I've got a lot of conversations going with some cool people who clearly there is a interest in educating and giving back, despite the movies, the sport, and these kind of things. And I think that's where I will have a lot of fulfillment and joy in the next sort of decade, is doing some touring with those kind of people, but capturing those talks, putting them online for people to be able to listen to that. And look, when you partner with someone, we won't mention their name, but they've got like 90 million followers and they're pushing out this kind of content, that kind of impact is so much greater than I can do at my events.
And for the average person to get access to those people is almost impossible, right? So to be able to get the access through someone like yourself is pretty incredible.
Yeah, do you mean, I think we'll do some really good things with it. And, you know, to have you sitting there waking up with your phone 6 a.m. and you get a hit of inspiration from someone that you've idolized in business, sport, fashion, whatever it is, and it's there, and then you can jump out of bed and it costs you $9 a month.
Exactly.
I just think that's my scale, that's my global plan, and that's what I've been building for the last couple of years.
Mate, it's super inspiring, I think. It's really, really cool. Mate, the last thing I like to do on my podcast is give you the opportunity to ask me a question to what you think my audience or the audience that you have would like to hear. So I'll pass the interviewing over to you.
Okay, I wasn't prepared for this. But
I don't think anyone is.
Look, knowing you, knowing what you're doing, I'd love to see you start doing some speaking.
Right.
Is that something that you would see yourself doing?
It is, yeah. My thought around speaking is I don't want to speak, I guess. I don't want to pretend I'm an expert in something until I actually am the expert and I am the brand, right? Yeah. I don't want to get on stage and say I've done this and I'm doing this and you should do this if I haven't done it myself.
Sure.
So I want it to be authentic. So when I've hit that level, which I'm going to hit, I'm very confident of that, and I can speak from experience, speaking is something I really, really would like to get into for sure.
Yeah, and look, for the young guys out there and who may not be at your level yet, I feel if you're getting up to speak to sell something, you're right. You need to be an expert.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to tell as many of the young dudes out there right now is if you're doing content and you're passionate about something, even just get up at the local WeWork or the local area, put on an event for 50 people and just go, guys, I haven't figured this all out yet, but here are the 3 things that I've done that has really helped me on my journey. I would suggest when you're confident with this content plan and phase and building brand, not only is it a great way to capture content with a live event like that, but you start to build an audience, you start to build proximity to you. I think it'll really fast track your brand growth.
Right.
I
actually have my first 2 talks this month.
Wow.
They're real estate related, so it's about investing. So I've got my first one. There's 3 of us partnered in Newcastle, and we're going to talk about real estate up there. And there's one I'm doing with Trellis Associates, which will be
awesome.
The same. I'll be talking about investing and what's worked for me.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. And look, when you're ready for the big stage, come to me.
I'll be on the $9 a month app. Mate, thank you very, very much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. I'm sure my audience will too. And mate, good luck out there in that weather.
It's a bit wet. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.